Even though it's only church where we were going. Now, Sunday mornings I just sleep in. It's like I buried my faith with you. I'm screaming at a God I don't know if I believe in, 'cause I don't know what else I can do. I'm still holding on to everything that's dead and gone. I don't wanna say goodbye, 'cause this one means forever. And now you're in the stars, and 6 feet's never felt so far. Here I am alone between the heavens and the embers. Oh, it hurts so hard. For a million different reasons, you took the best of my heart and left the rest in pieces. Sunday mornings were your favorite. I used to meet you down on Woods Creek Road. You did your hair up like you were famous. Even though it's only church where we were going. Now, Sunday mornings I just sleep in. It's like I buried my faith with you. I'm screaming at a God I don't know if I believe in, 'cause I don't know what else I can do. I'm still holding on to everything that's dead and gone. I don't wanna say goodbye, 'cause this one means forever. And now you're in the stars, and 6 feet's never felt so far. Here I am alone between the heavens and the embers. Oh, it hurts so hard. For a million different reasons, you took the best of my heart and left the rest in pieces.
Yesterday the sky wept blood. Hearts were shattered in the mud. Ghana cried as the eagle fell. 2 bright stars no longer dwell. Too soon, in God we trust. Today the sun refused to shine. we've gonna hear her cry. Let your angels fill the sky. God save Kenya, bring them peace. Let this endless hurting cease. We are yours, we are your land. Take our wounds and heal by hand. Oh God, save Ghana and Kenya again.
Branded. In the United Kingdom, they have branded football very well. So for them, when you are entering Downing Street 10, football is Great Britain. Innovation is Great Britain. Ghana. Every Ghanaian this weekend, Mr. Speaker, is interested in the Chelsea 9 scores. Not Midiami versus RTU versus House of Oak or versus Kotoko, Mr. Speaker. Growing up, we all enjoy hearing Ukuma Pima Apimbeba. It is lost in our vocabulary. The pride with which we supported local football, particularly when you had, and then secondary show boys. Then Honorable Mukola go, Mr. Speaker. At the time, he was poor like me. He used to scale the wall. We used to scale the Canadian Sports Stadium just to catch a glimpse of football because we couldn't afford to pay. So we go holding the walls of the bricks there to find or we plant.
Ichokuni nipa nodawa untumiki kani hui asumkia nipa nodawa odini saguni bui yediara Ghana ruti apinisi oyo yechi swepebre yeyam sisien
The party Munshi said so. We are chairman who are Konya said we a tour by chairman for vice for no million count. We are now to a pay a Konya a immense the account. And on the name so. Metons are friends upon say, mentality. Opportunity. And I'm in a Juma Kusi and son in the a boy. Now, yeah, come once a more. I just said, no, Krumpa, and it says, Apple or the name qua. And now what you have to hold as some here. Wa mabini menanka tasemeko enti shishe nyina kosi branda na nyumre nyina na me na tasemeko enti branda na nyumre o party meeting ana me de tu ja say you might be a quacudi no was. As I said, make up. Nanso no, Bibia Sanka more. into Anka a general secretary. So I ready so the part, you should see my name. Or not so head and crack them, let us say, or not so. At the Bibiaman so quiet. Intimating in Sinam say, now says so for no one quack, so nipa, uniwa, would you know what name would there be? Sent his up on the wall. Sapon so ofiri asanti mam enti no se BBC wo kwasia na se wanya kwanya kwa ene sapon eno ane sapon ko ya
No day passes without me Mutala thinking of death. And that day, me when I said, I think, what can you feel? So that material vanity, it doesn't shape my life or my world. No. No day passes without me Mutala thinking of death. And that day, me when I said, I think, what can you feel? So that material vanity, it doesn't shape my life or my world. No.
Condolence. What fond memory can you share with us?
It's very difficult. So, the Honorable Mutala, I don't even know where to begin. So, if there was anyone in Parliament that we could count on to speak the truth and to be honest and straightforward, he was one of them. Not only was he this is really very difficult. You know, in our politics, integrity is a very rare commodity. Extremely rare. But this young man had it all. He loved this country. He loved the NDC as a political tradition.
My brother, how are you? Very much. All right. Good to see you.
How are you?
And so it didn't come to me as a surprise. However, what came to me as a surprise is the fact that I think Dr. Baumia's presentation was politically pathetic, academically anemic, and flagrantly dishonest.
Hey.
Yes. I mean,
can you repeat that?
It was politically pathetic, academically anemic, and flagrantly dishonest. And so it didn't come to me as a surprise. However, what came to me as a surprise is the fact that I think Dr. Baumia's presentation was politically pathetic, academically anemic, and flagrantly dishonest.
Hey.
Yes. I mean,
can you repeat that?
It was politically pathetic, academically anemic, and flagrantly dishonest. And so it didn't come to me as a surprise.
My wife is very religious, to tell you the truth, and she's been an inspiration. I'm a practicing Muslim, and the thing about my wife, and I will say it, and I say it with pride, she's very religious. She's a very smart lady, very intelligent, and there have been a lot of changes in my life because of her.
Yeah.
My wife would not allow you to talk about anybody, even with her.
Yeah.
Like a woman who challenged my wife. Challenges me a lot. Sometimes certain things I want to say, I think of my wife.
When peace like a river
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Good morning. Welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Today is the 14th of August 2025. And as I always say, this is the day the Lord has made. Indeed, we're glad in it. And we're grateful to Him. Grateful, thankful to Him for giving us another rare privilege of returning here to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that's making the rounds in our dear country, Ghana. I'll go straight ahead and look at the front pages of the newspapers that we have today. Daily Graphic is what I will start with as always. It says that a stronger legislation needed for forensic DNA testing. Expert. Vigil held at Burma Camp, Takrady for departed patriots. Equip armed forces to deal with disasters. Former National Security Minister. Investigating crashed helicopter. Military invites expert manufacturer to examine black box. The Ghanaian Times. Helicopter crash. State funeral for victims tomorrow. We're ready for Akwatia by-election September 2. EC assures. In gave their lives. GAF eulogizes victims of helicopter crash. The Daily Guide. Kwewuhine celebrates with supporters August 17. Bafo Boni removes Justice Opong from law school. Bamia picks forms, calls for clean campaign. Helicopter crash. Tokono lays wreath, signs book of condolence. Police arrest NPP serial caller over gun claims. The Inside. Helicopter crash. Defense Ministry assures of transparent probe. BCM Ghana responds to alleged false claims in the media. African democracy must focus on next generation. VEEB charges leaders. Obuasi police accused of defying High Court order in the release of seized excavators in Galamsey case. Kenyan MPs condemn Israel's atrocities in Gaza, call for ceasefire and a recognition of Palestine. And there's a special coming up. Travel and tour company top media personnel, ex-government and serving officials caught in massive visa scandal. And there's helicopter crash. Defense Ministry assures of transparent probe. African democracy must focus on next generation. VEEB charges leaders. The New Republic. Chopper crash. MPP runs from 2 TikTok bombers. Disowns offensive comments by party-linked TikTokers on helicopter crash. Takrady off-dock container. Terminal handover sparks growth optimism. And there's a cartoon, Akosia Jollof arrested over verbal diarrhea. MPP's Elon Musk battles Kenya Japan and co. Says none has given financial support to the party than him. BOG boss meets bank CEOs, urges them to boost SMEs, fund infrastructure, and expand digital access. August 6th, helicopter crash. Government calls in foreign eyes. The Daily Post. Honorable Akujeto Ablakwa eulogizes Dr. Edward Omane Boama. And there's also Ghana Gas meets NPA to strengthen energy sector collaboration. Raymond Atoba appointed GLC's acting director of legal education. MPP activist Obama Pokwase Fante Comedy granted bail but remain in custody. B&FT. Strong CD easing inflation creates room for lending expansion. Targeted financing seen as key to Africa's industrial growth. Advance SNL reports 400% profit surge in H1 2025. And it says drive in growth. Okay. All right. There's Melcom Group mourns falling officials. And there's a RNAQ Foundation commits 500,000 cedis to fund nationwide study on youth opioids abuse. There's a Daily Searchlight. Attackers of BCM Ghana Limited facility where land guards management. Konongo youth cried to Asante to come to their aid. Wontumi under persecution, arrest, shutdowns, detentions galore. Well, that's it for the newspapers that we have this morning. Please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana. Please don't go anywhere.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
I'm here at Mycom JA Limited to show you the Promethean Active Panel, the ultimate tool for corporate institutions, hospitals, schools, and your home. With its crystal clear 4K display and an unbreakable screen with an ultra responsive touch technology, this isn't just a screen, it's a game changer. For corporate institutions and in schools, this active panel can be used for Zoom meetings and PowerPoint presentation. And oh, your homes are not left behind. You can use it to watch all your favorite programs by just connecting to a Fire Stick, and you can get access to channels like Netflix and Amazon, and voila, you are in there. At Mycom JA Limited, we provide you with the best quality products from the United States of America with 1-year warranty. You can get an active panel at a discounted price of 18,000 Ghana cedi only, and it comes with a Fire Stick, a webcam, and a micro system. You can locate us at Chado Container behind the Trade Fair. Visit Mycom JA Limited today and elevate your tech.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit's Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits, happy smile.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Wezalo Amarab. Yes.
Ghana Tourism Authority welcomes you to the 2025 African Marketing and Technology Conference.
From digital storytelling to destination marketing, welcome to Ghana, the gateway to Africa.
Come here and build high-valued network. And of course, you build this network with great industry leaders.
We can't wait to host you. From our immersive cultural experiences to the plethora of our sun, our beaches, our gastronomy. Woo!
We are asking all of you to come network at this beautiful event. Events that will actually teach you the real value of marketing to tourism.
Yes, the Aquaba Night. Come and experience our rich heritage. Come and dance to the beat and rhythm of our music and culture. This is Ghana Tourism Authority.
Three government officials are the due respect. You who have used your platforms to really, as an institution and as individuals, sending your words of sympathy and 6th of August. And we didn't reach level, and we wanted to do. Thank you so much for basically the black attire for the commiseration or for the conference things before we get to this stage. But be that as it may, I see your camera is here. So I may have to say something. I don't want to say this is an ambush, but we didn't really plan to talk about this. Let me acknowledge your condolences and your support. In fact, since the accident happened on 6th of August, a number of your organizations, your media networks, many of them have reached out to us as an institution and as individuals, sending your words of sympathy and assuring us of your support and your prayers. We thank you for that. We also want to thank those of you who have used your platforms to really manage the incident such that it has accorded the due respect that our fallen heroes deserve. Losing 2 cabinet ministers, 3 government officials at the highest level, and an air crew of 3 on a single day is not a very good news at all. In fact, for the past week, the entire armed forces have been in a state of mourning. And we wish that this had not happened. We had a very vibrant Minister for Defense who had plans to transform the Ghana Armed Forces. Together with the Military High Command, we had strategized and we knew that we were going to unfold something new for the armed forces that belongs to all of us as a country. But as nature will have it, as the saying goes, death lays its icy hands on kings. So that is what we experienced. Let me address the first concern as to the fact that we have not been very proactive in terms of our communication. Investigations into aircraft accidents of this nature takes time. Probably for what you were referring to, when incidents like this happen, the initial communication that comes up has to do with the passengers and where their relatives must go to seek for information. But the initial communication cannot delve into the accident. In our case, we were very sure of who was on board. Their relatives had been contacted, and so that aspect of updating the family was not an issue for us. In terms of the recovery exercise itself, this is one of the fastest recovery exercises involving helicopter in our country. The last time that we had a similar incident in the Chiwa forest, it took us 3 days to get to the accident scene. In our case, when we suspected that something might have happened to the aircraft, it took us additional 30 minutes for us to apply the known protocols to see where the aircraft was. Because once an aircraft loses communication, it doesn't mean that it has crashed. It could be flying very low, out of radar. It could be weather condition, or it could be mechanical. So after 30 minutes, once we realized that we were still not making progress, then we initiated what we call the rescue efforts, because we still didn't know whether there were casualties. But subsequently, based on information we got from some of the locals around that area, we had to change that rescue effort to a recovery effort. So the closest military post at that time was the team that had gone to secure the helipad to receive the team, to receive the helicopter. And they were as far as Obuasi. It took them some time to get to the scene. By that time, the locals who were at the scene had already started interfering with the crime scene. What I can add is that our team from Kumasi got there on time. They had to find their way to the crash site, which was about over 800 feet above sea level. Basically a high ground. Together with once they got there, the medical team was also following up with everything that they needed, just in case they were survivors. At the team site, our personnel did whatever they will do. It was getting very late. The place had been sealed off. And I'll not use the word cordon off, because we didn't even know the extent to which the wreckage had dispersed. As I speak today, every day, the personnel on the ground keep expanding the search, because we don't know exactly where all the wreckage, the bits and parts of the aircraft might be. Let me just run it up by saying that we had to do the recovery effort with the available and appropriate material we have on the ground. We had some body bags at the scene, but the remains were so heated that it was not conducive for the bags to be used. It was in a thick forest, it was getting late. We had the option of leaving our remains there till the following day, and we know what could have happened to the bodies. So the team that was up there assessing the situation decided to use available material they could lay hands on to start to descend the high ground. At the foot of the hill, they met the medical team, and with the body bags that they had, some of which have been also sent from Anglo Gold Ashanti, they kept our fallen heroes in those bags decently. They kept them in ambulances and sent them to Kumasi, where they were kept in coffins and draped in national colors, befitting their status as patriots of this country. Subsequently, we moved them to Accra, and you saw the kind of reception that was arranged for them back in Accra. Let me say that all these things were done hurriedly. So there might have been some mistakes. In the morning when the aircraft was taking off, nobody expected any such disaster. But from the crash to Accra, it's possible, likely, that some things might have been done that were not in conformity with our culture. But I must tell you that those who are on the ground assess the situation, and from where I stand, and looking back, I think that they did the best with the resources that they had at hand. I will continue to urge all of us to have patience. The investigations have started. We are about completing the preliminary investigations, and that is what we inform the kind of investigations that we need to undertake. As at this moment, we have retrieved and are keeping the anti-crash recorder. We are waiting on the experts, the manufacturers, and a decision will be taken as to how it will be decoded. If there are any further information that we get which is new from what has happened, we will let you know. But I want to say emphatically that recovering our patriots who lost their lives on that day from that high ground to Accra within 10 hours was something worth noting. With regards to the issue concerning the assaults that occasionally sometimes happen, we have almost about nearly 30,000 military personnel. So you can see that the infractions we are talking about are just very, 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 very little. But I can tell you that this is not what the Ghana Military High Command endorses. We don't. We don't endorse assault, not only on journalists, but also on civilians. And for any of all of these incidents, we do our possible best to investigate and get to the bottom of the matter. Probably what we haven't done is that to appease the culprits, we need to let you know, to appease the victims, we need to let the victims know what punishment has been meted out so that it can appease them. Probably that is not what we have done well. But on all those occasions, we do our possible best to investigate, including the recent one, which we are investigating.
All right, so you're live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Now, the show, I need to also remind you that it's live on 94.1 FM. So please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. So my guests are seated. In fact, one of them is seated, and I'll be introducing him. And as a man who hasn't been here in a while, and it's also, I mean, for obvious reasons, he's been extremely busy. And but he is the man who runs the affairs for our Vice President, Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajima. When I say runs affairs, he runs her office, basically, or directs things that happen in that office. So I'm talking about a man who is a former health minister, also a former deputy defense minister. He's also a lawyer, trained and practiced both in the UK and here in Ghana. and he's here. He's a stalwart of the NDC. I'm talking about the man, Mr. Alex Segbefia. He's taking time with very busy schedule to join us this morning. Good morning, sir, and thank you very much for accepting to join us this morning.
Good morning, Moro, and good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners across the continent and beyond.
We appreciate your being here because, first of all, you have an extremely busy schedule. You run a very, very important office, that office of the Vice President. And the fact that, even despite your busy schedule, you still haven't abandoned the media. You're still very good friends with the media, and you've made time to be here. We truly appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you so much that is our duty.
Yeah.
At some point.
And I'm saying this because there are some of your colleagues who, it appears, anyway.
Oh, let me defend them a bit. Let me defend them a bit.
Okay.
When you're in opposition, it's a totally different scenario from when you're in government.
True.
We have leaders of almost all the institutions of government.
Right.
They have spokespersons. And in the course of a 24-hour period, you may not have the ability to know everything that is happening in each one.
True.
Whereas in opposition, you can speculate at certain levels in government. When you make a statement, it's what holds. So you have to know and be on top of your game completely. That's why, even when you're coming on a show now, you should be asking, what topics am I going to cover? So you can do the research and be on top of your game. So because of that, the person who is always on top of our affairs is Felix Ofosu-Okwachi, who is the spokesperson, and then others. And we all try to keep on top of it. But speaking in opposition has a totally different effect from speaking in government. And so when somebody is not sure, a morning show, you just pick the papers and you go through.
Yeah.
Now, you are confronted with a topic. You're a government official. It's not good to be seen not to know what you're talking about. So, and you cannot also talk about something you're not sure of. What is the game plan? Stay out for a while. And then when I'm really done my research, done this thing, we come out. Moreover, you have nothing to prove technically. One would have hoped that, yes, governance continues, but what are we comparing? 8 months of a government as opposed to 8 years of a previous government. And from where I'm sitting, we are looking very good. It's just that today is not a day for that type of response. So I speak for them, not because people necessarily want to shy away. You'll find that most senior people are not talking. They want to see how best the government has settled. Even on the opposition side, there are a lot of people who have just kept quiet. And the normal commentators and listeners will be speaking. So bear with them, Moro. I'm sure that we'll all come back at some point.
We have heard. We have heard you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. How is the Vice President doing?
Fantastic. She's okay, back to normal, no issues. Okay. And she's working. It is true that she was even on the heli at one point, not a couple of weeks before going to Central Region. So she's working, and her main focus is to complement the president's agenda. And she does that extremely well. She has a very good rapport and relationship with our president. And so we are geared as her team to ensure that she can deliver on her mandate to support the president. And I think she's doing that fantastically.
She's a woman who's been in the academic circles for a very long time, or in academia for a very long time. Now she finds herself in a politically sensitive position. as a vice president, and here you're dealing with, I mean, the dynamics are entirely different, both socially, politically, and to some extent economically. How has she transitioned, or how is she transitioning, or how has she transitioned from the world of academia to now holding a political position where she has to deal with all manner of, things? I mean,
we sometimes speak of institutions as if they are politics free.
Right.
That is not true.
Right.
The church is highly political.
Right.
Education is highly political. Name it. Businesses, there's some level of politics in every institution. So even when you get to the top of your institution, it means that you have been through certain aspects of politics, either deliberately or inadvertently, in that field.
Yeah.
So when people talk of politics, they immediately think of partisan party politics. But that's, for me, it's a wider scope than that. But she's done a lot of firsts. And by the time she achieved her position as being the first female vice chancellor of a public university, it put her in a stead where she understood the dynamics or differences or nuances of politics. She then became the Minister of Education. Now, in terms of spending, in terms of the portfolios, I think education is second to none.
Yeah.
And so she held the biggest portfolio.
Right.
And she was there for 4 full years without a blemish.
Right.
Without.
Yeah.
So it came as no surprise to many of us that she was then chosen as a running mate for the 2020 elections. Now, if you look at our results in 2016 and you look at them in 2020, we were already on an upward trajectory. By the time we moved from 2020 to 2024, we had set a record in terms of the number of seats we have won and in terms of the percentage that was achieved by the number one backed by a female number two. So any way you look at it, her transition, if you want to use that word,
right,
from academia into politics is pure success.
Right.
And if the NDC hail her and raise her profile and her person to the rest of the world, and especially to Ghana, it's because of this singular achievement of a remarkably intelligent and forthright individual. So kudos to her. She's done it on her own strength and her own steam. And yes, she knows how to bring in people when she needs to in terms of supporting her to achieve the agenda.
Okay.
And I think that while we give her credit, you cannot but give John Mahama, President Mahama, credit for recognizing the traits that she had, which would enhance his fortune, and for that matter, the fortune of Ghana, in making sure that we are where we are today.
So try to help me understand how the organogram at the presidency works. Yeah. So you have the chief of staff, that's Julius Debra.
Yes.
And you're also the chief of staff
at the vice
president's office. How much autonomy do you enjoy?
Well, we don't, I ensure. Okay. It's a question of, you see, no matter what they call you or who you are, it's a question of relationships.
Right.
Julius is my boss.
Okay.
Yes, I work in the vice president's office. The president, my boss, what's it called? The vice president, my boss. Julius, my boss. Callistus. So we have relationships.
Right.
And the trick is to know your place.
Yeah.
There is no rivalry or competition. Julius is chief of staff, period. And we all go to him for advice, for decision making, And so you keep that constantly flowing. We don't see ourselves as autonomous. We see ourselves as presidency. So the presidency has a chief of staff. For the sake of clarity, the person in charge at the vice president's office is the chief of staff at the vice president's office, namely myself. But I am part of the presidency and I work to the chief of staff of the presidency. That's where it stops.
So the reason why I asked this is because I want to try and understand, again, it's a well-learning.
Yeah.
So are your programs and administrative decisions subject to, say, for instance, the blessing and approval of the chief of staff, or there are certain things that you have to defer to the chief of staff?
We defer to the president.
Or the president, right.
So if the president requires something to be done, we will get to know through the chief of staff.
Okay.
Invariably.
Right.
And any program that involves the president and we are required to assist, everything else is secondary to that.
Okay.
So we are clear, and this is what I'm saying, it's about relationships,
right,
and understanding your role. We are clear that we work to the president, and the chief of staff of all of us is the
administrative boss.
Yeah, it's the administrative boss. But the only person who stands above that is the vice president herself. But she has a direct link and rapport with the president.
Right.
So most decisions are discussed between them even before it gets to the next level. Right. And then we are told through the chief of staff and sometimes through the secretary to the president because of time.
Right.
So we work with both of them very, very well.
Right.
And it is my duty to ensure that the synergy between the three of us or four of us, or for the people living the president, because we have advisor on governance, we have advisor and all that. We ensure, or I try to ensure that synergy is there. So we don't have two offices. Technically, we have a presidency.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for example, I'm coming on this show. I have spoken to the spokesperson on the spokesperson for communication.
Right.
I've spoken to those who are involved in the planning.
Right.
You don't say, oh, because I am. No.
Okay.
We have our roles, and you have to be clear of your roles, and you must know who you have to be dealing with when you enter into the sector, and that's all it is.
At the end of the day, you must also be seen to be singing in unison.
Exactly.
Yeah, from the same hymn book.
Which brings you to the point you were raising,
right,
where you call people and they are not, if they are not clear on an issue, they would rather not speak on it because then it looks like you haven't done your homework and stuff like that. So
yeah. I will continue just briefly with our conversation, but let me just welcome Mr. Ernest Adade, who's joined us. He's a member of the MPP's communications team, and he's an IT specialist and also an entrepreneur. Yes. What do you mean?
I always say that anytime Moro wants to cool me down, it changes to me. But the heat is not on yet. Once I'm in the studio with the boss, you don't need to speak there. You speak pure English. There's nothing to cool down. On a more serious note, I respond and greetings to my father and big brother too, and all our viewers.
But I hope you're doing well.
Oh, very well, very well. I'm sorry I had to be a little late.
No, I just understand.
Yes.
Just understand.
You know my corner.
Yeah.
I live in a village near Accra, so sometimes if you miss your time, you fall into the traffic, and that's the problem. So forgive me.
We pray for Alex. Alex is a very kind man.
Yes.
If he's able to make some money, he'll bring you to the center of Accra. Some place around Osu-Olabadi.
Hey,
yes.
Then my prayer will be more serious from today. I think the last time we met,
I was about to comment, but they say I'm being too partisan.
You know, the incident which has happened apparently is supposed to bring all of us together. No more in the CMPP. So there's a way he can help. We just have to pray that he'll make money.
He's done some good work on us. It's just like football. You know, funerals in families always bring the family together. It's not what we expect. It's not what anybody wants. But sometimes when it happens, the families take advantage of that to settle scores within the family. So when they come and meet and they finish the family, there's always a meeting after the funeral. And that meeting is supposed to take care of a few things that might be happening within the family. So it's not strange it went this way.
In Hausa, there's a very popular saying that mutua yaka de komi.
What does it
Mutua yaka de komi. I.e., or to wit, death settles it all. Once it's about death, all the cool car,
everybody's
all of that. Anyway, so Alex, how have you been holding up since last week Wednesday? I've just been wondering. I mean, yourself, the entire office, the vice president, everybody. Where were you that day? How did you get the news? What was your immediate reaction? And there's an article a gentleman wrote. I must have been on Monday or so, and this gentleman was cataloging what he knows the vice president has done since the issue came up. And I was blown away, also because of the vice president's own style of doing things, where she's not loud, she just wants to get the job done, etc. So I'll read that article to you, but how has the office been, and yourself personally, been dealing with this very, very tragic event?
Well, I think that the word you use is it's been a catastrophe. In your wildest dream, you couldn't see it coming. And you don't even wish it on your worst enemy. It's just, and I think the manner of it all is a bit heart-rending. But at times like this, you can understand why, regardless of the difficulties people have with religion, it becomes a source of strength or coping, mechanism.
Or comfort.
Pardon?
Or comfort.
Or comfort, yes. Because you then have to now go back into your faith to try and make sense of the whole thing. And the classic is that, look, his ways are not our ways, and you give thanks in whatever comes your way. So that's, for many people, is the way they rationalize it and try to come to terms with what has befallen us as a nation. It also is comforting to see the outpouring from across the globe towards Ghana for this tragic incident. And it makes you feel that, well, for whatever it is, we should ensure, as others are pushing us, not to let this tragic event be in vain. As Ghanaians, we have to see what we can do to ensure that, one, their aims and aspirations as people are met, and two, such an incident, as much as possible, should not repeat itself and should be avoided.
Never again.
Exactly. In terms of, we were in the office that morning, and I had been out briefly, and I arrived on the Tuesday. So it was my first day back in the office on the Wednesday.
Okay.
And I was about to go and debrief, so to speak, when the news came. And obviously when it came, we were not initially aware of whether there were survivors or not. So we were all quietly praying that, look, it wouldn't be the worst that we thought of. It wasn't long before we got the message that, look, there wasn't even a single survivor from the crash.
Around what time was that?
I can't put a time to it. Okay. It was in the morning.
It was in the morning.
I remember.
So you got the news much earlier?
Yeah, we got it much earlier.
Right.
It was in the morning. And people were trying to still make their way. And we all went through the subsequently the issue, because even the list of the manifest was not what happened with people who were actually on the flight.
Yeah.
Because some people were supposed to go who didn't go, and people who were not supposed to be on it were on it.
Yeah.
So straight away, people were not sure who was involved.
The only constant was the defense minister, because people knew he was going to be on board, he was going to represent. So that was the next stage. Who have we lost? And that is just from the political angle. We also were interested in how many people from the Air Force have we lost? And we quickly found that that was 3. And then, so what was the total number? 8, and 5 of them were politicians, in inverted commas. So it was, we were all hoping that, look, maybe, I even heard someone's theory that, look, are they sure that the 8 bodies are the people who were in the plane? Yeah. Because maybe it could have come down near a farm and one person was a farmer, but one of them is still safe somewhere. Yeah. You know, that those type of theories went through people's heads to see whether they could save, in their minds, someone. But we knew that that was not the case. I think that I've heard the Chief of Defense Staff speak. I think he has shown remarkable leadership. You see, notwithstanding the level it is in the military, it could easily have been left to the PRO or another senior, the Air Force commander, because it was an Air Force plane, to do the press conference. But he showed remarkable leadership in this by coming out himself to deal with it and give his explanation as to what. And that I want to give him kudos and credit for.
We'll get there, actually. We'll talk about, we'll discuss that.
Okay. And so, but coming back, we were all in shock. But you come back to the vice president's position, and her first reaction was, has the president been informed? How is he coping?
Wow.
And I found that quite informative, because she knew how close he was to a good number of those on the flight. And her first reaction was about his welfare. Then it was, have we informed the families? So it was from president to immediate families. Then she said, let's find out a bit more, did what she had to do, and spoke to him. And she said, look, I'm chair of the military council. Once the initial things are done, we have to have an emergency council meeting so that we are briefed properly with a one-item agenda. What has happened? Where are we with it? And what is it that we can do as a council to make the life easier for the people involved and the troops? So I think that her posture has, even though she's hurt and grieving, she hasn't lost sight of what needs or was required to be done, amongst all the other things that everybody else was doing. And I must commend the Chief of Staff as well with his deputies. They've been absolutely on top of this game. And obviously, the President himself, ensuring that he's making or giving out instructions for what should be done, how and when to ensure. So I just want to say that while I'm doing this, I must also commend the leadership of the MPP, who have come and also commiserated. The former President Kufuor did same, and the former President Nana-Addo and Bawumia, former Vice President, leaders of various churches, institutions, took part in the wreath laying and flowers and candle fighting. I must commend the military and the professionalism with which they dealt with the movement of the remains of our loved ones. And to a point, I cannot leave out the media. And the reason I say that is from the moment the president took the decision that, okay, we're having 3 days of mourning, I watched stations after station and watched how they made that their focal point of news broadcast to bring the extent of the tragedy to the doorsteps of Ghanaians in a serene environment and in a way that led to a lot of compassion for people and in a non-partisan manner. Because in Ghana, it's very easy to move things into, but this has been done with taste, if I can use that word. And I think the media must also be commended on that. You always have a few renegades, should I call it that, who would always want to try and spoil the party. This party has not been spoiled in any shape, form, or fashion. I think Ghanaians, in our grief, can be proud of ourselves for the way in which we've dealt with this very, very sad, unfortunate incident. And tomorrow we have the state funeral.
Yes.
For all 8. As you are aware, we've buried the 2 Muslims, once we were able to identify their remains properly. They have been buried, given a military burial, but with the Muslim tradition. And tomorrow we'll do same for the remainder of the 6, but the funeral is for all 8. Right. It's going to be the state funeral, and that is where we are. Okay. Tomorrow, those are my initial.
Well, there's a gentleman called Jonathan de Comwin Subar. I don't know him. I read this article that he authored and posted it on his wall, and I was actually looking for it. Fortunately, a friend has just sent it to me, and it says, "Madam Vice President, we thank you. They called you grandma to mock you. But today you have grannied the whole nation through grief with extraordinary stability and strength. History will remember you as the heroine of the hour, or of this hour. You did more than fulfill your constitutional duty to act for and on behalf of the president. You reaffirmed your presence as not just the right choice for the role, but the best choice for this moment in our nation's history. Only hours after the helicopter tragedy that claimed the lives of 2 ministers of state and 6 others, you led the national delegation to break the news to grieving families across the country. It was a duty steeped in sorrow, yet you carried it with dignity and compassion. Now, when the president was weighed down by grief, you stood firm in that iconic image, standing between the weeping president and the crying chief of staff. You looked upon the president with the gaze of a mother, holding your composure in the midst of heartbreak during the wreath laying. It was a moment that captured both your humanity and your strength. And then, even in the shadow of loss, you chaired an emergency Armed Forces Council meeting to keep the machinery of state moving forward, what you told us earlier. And it says 6, what a woman. So he catalogs it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm on the 6th point. So what a woman. 7th, if anyone ever doubts the place of the African woman in sustaining our democracy, look not only to the home and family where our mothers and sisters keep the light of life burning, but also to the highest seat of governance. Look to the Jubilee House in this moment, and you will see the unshakable strength of the African woman in preserving our nation's stability. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Your Excellency, Madam Vice President. In our grief, you held us. In our darkness, you lit the way. I mean, I saw this article, I must have been on Tuesday, so I thought it was quite interesting. You know, so when I was told you were coming here today, I started searching for it, I couldn't find it. But I think when I mentioned it, in fact, I tested a friend whom I know is very, very active on social media, and he sent this to me. I mean, it sort of captures almost everything you said earlier, right?
Well, yes, and like I said, she has proven beyond a shadow of doubt that President Mahama made the right decision in picking her as his vice president. And she does it in a very discreet, quiet fashion. There's no drum beating and razzmatazz.
Yeah.
She just acts. And her decisions are always spot on for the moment. And she quickly catalogs processes in her mind as to what should happen when and how, and the impression that it creates for us as a country. So I think we're in a good place in terms of where we are. And I was listening to my colleague when he came in, which you spoke about how death has brought us together.
Yeah.
Because across board, we have found our humane side as a people. And notwithstanding we are in grief, as I said earlier, I think Ghanaians can be proud of the fact that we still have shown our humanity. We've shown our love of our brothers in this unfortunate incident. And we've also seen leadership from all quarters, and especially from the presidency. So kudos to us at this stage, but commiserations to the whole country for what has happened to us or what has befallen us as a people.
And when I read the article, the impression I got was that she's apparently tougher and more resilient than she comes across. You know,
you don't survive Ministry of Education.
Yeah, if you're not tough. All right, so I want to survive this program.
I always find it interesting. You don't become the first vice chancellor
if you're
of
not
a
tough.
public university. So tough. It was accepted long time ago.
You're right.
Maybe it has just reinforced.
Yes, just reinforced it. You're
but
right.
It's just that she doesn't do it with razzmatazz. That's the point. A lot of people, she's just very calm and cool, and for that, we are grateful being her chief of staff.
Anyway, so I want to survive this program first of all. I also want to survive the wrath of Ernest Adede, because I don't want to cut him when he starts to talk. So you know what? Let's take a breather.
Okay.
Yes, that's the only way I can survive it. We'll take a breather. When we come back, I'll get to this. As for Ernest, he's been talking already, but he's been playing his paying his glowing tribute to them. So I probably will just go straight ahead and look at the big event tomorrow. So stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana. Don't go anywhere, please.
Thank you. On this somber occasion, may I respectfully invite all of us to observe a minute of silence in memory of our fallen heroes. Hello.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson,
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friendly Kalika, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friendly once now.
Hey, that's you.
Improve car.
Yeah.
Captain, mosquito, double the accent. Me did this, sasso spray. Mr. Friendly sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso.
Sasso, come tum preko.
Whoopee iPhone papa. Ye wo homa.
So open iPhones accessories papa dia menhwe baby a.
Ba EBA phones and accessories.
Sebani EBA, yeton iPhones any home accessories. iPhone 50 XL cost 16 Pro Max. Accessories ye charger, AirPods, any iPhone home akadie nyina. Nianuma ye ni sika pudu e de beto iPhone. Say ya nkwankre, boja, and na say aboye juma your phone nyina. For 40% beji iPhone bia ope. Na ni aka no, wo de bosome miensa. Etua ne nkakra. E kwan ya obefa so de atwie ni. Dial *713*5571#. Oba, sheno so se wo de wo Ghana card. Ene nia e kire se wo ye adwuma. Hwehwe ye kire kwan e wo circle mo. Ene tiptoe line ni modern photos enchen ho a. Afei so, se wo ba American Mall, ye ni odo right ene di nhwani. Kuma senso ye wo edum Central Prisons roundabout ejekum abonsan ni mo. Freyen e wo numbers na ebu screen ni so no. EBA phones, no hassle cry.
MGO Logistics and Supply is your trusted partner, providing seamless solutions for all your procurement needs. From sourcing products to managing imports and exports, we ensure smooth and efficient transactions every step of the way. Whether you require goods from across the globe or need assistance in exporting your products to international markets, we got you covered. General trading is at the heart of our expertise. We specialize in a wide range of products, catering to various industries and markets. As a trusted dealership in building materials, we provide high-quality products that meet the demands of our construction projects. Additionally, we act as manufacturers' representatives, connecting producers with distributors. Our expertise in logistics is the backbone of our operations. We plan and execute transportation and delivery of goods, ensuring they reach their destination on time and in optimal condition. MGO Logistics and Supply, guaranteed satisfaction.
A home is more than just walls and a roof. It's the warmth of family, the assurance of security, and the joy of shared moments. Whether you're returning from abroad or seeking a new beginning, Rehoboth Havens Ayimensa is where your journey truly begins. Nestled beneath the tranquil Ebri Mountains, this gated community offers the perfect blend of modern living and natural beauty. Our 2, 3 and 4 bedroom homes are designed for family living with spacious interiors, elegant finishes, and all the comforts that make life better. From cozy living rooms for bonding to modern kitchens for culinary creativity and private gardens for peaceful reflection, every space is thoughtfully crafted. At Rehoboth Havens, your children play safely, your family grows joyfully, and your memories are built on a foundation of care and community. Starting from 675,000 Ghana cedis with flexible installment plans, your dream home is within reach because everyone deserves a place to truly call home. Rehoboth Havens, where futures are built and dreams come to life. Call us on 0553 751933 or 0206 823524 to secure your future today. Rehoboth Social Housing, your housing dream becomes reality.
Some loves are born in the blink of an eye, and they kill your soul in a flash. Televisa presents You Are the One. Angela dreams of keeping her promise to be a great doctor and help her people. To Alvaro, ambition is stronger than his dream, and this greed will lead him to commit the worst betrayal to the woman he loves, turning all her dreams into painful disappointments and dangerous consequences.
Llevo horas esperando que me contestes, Álvaro. No he sabido nada de ti, te mandé muchos mensajes y no me contestas.
Ya te saliste de la terminal.
Tal de pagar y poderme salir de esto.
Con estas fotos vamos a vender muy, pero muy bien. A nuestra minita de oro.
¿Estás novio? ¿Estás bien?
You're still live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. I'm here with Mr. Alex Segbefia, who is the Chief of Staff at the Office of the Vice President, and also Mr. Ernest Adade, who is a member of the MPP's communications team. So, Ernest, I don't know whether you have anything brief to say, but otherwise I want us to go and look at tomorrow, the big event tomorrow. Hello.
It's the same thing.
Same.
No,
okay.
The event tomorrow.
Okay,
it just ties in.
All right. So,
but the main thing is.
Because there's a story I wanted to read before you come in. Unless, of course, what you want to say is outside of that.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
All right. The conversation is the same.
Sure.
You know my position.
So the Ghanaian Times on page 13 has Julius Yao Petiti as the writer of the story. It says Ghanaians will tomorrow gather at the Black Star Square in Accra and other parts of the country to bid farewell to 8 of 8 compatriots who perished in a helicopter crash on August 6, 2025. The safe funeral is expected to be led by President John Dramani Mahama and his vice, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. Other mourners will include the families of the deceased, ministers of state and the members of parliament, the judiciary, the diplomatic community, the clergy, the traditional authorities, friends and sympathizers. All mourners are to be seated by 7 a.m. The funeral commences at 8 a.m. So 7 a.m. you're supposed to be seated, 8 a.m. the program starts. Now, ahead of the state funeral, a requiem mass is expected to be held for 2 of the victims, Dr. Edward Kofi Omanibuama and the squadron leader Peter Bafemi Anala at the Christ the King Catholic Church here in Accra today. That's Thursday, August 14, 2025. The 8 victims on board a C-9 helicopter operated by the Ghana Air Force died in the crash in the Dancy area in the Ashanti region en route to Obuasi on Wednesday, August 6, 2025. The rest of the deceased were Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, MP Tamale Central, Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, and Alhaji Limuna Mohammed Nimuneru, the Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator and a former Minister for Food and Agriculture. Others were Dr. Samuel Sapon, the second National Vice Chairman of the governing NDC, and a former Ashanti Regional Minister, and Samuel Abuaji, who is a former NDC parliamentary candidate for the Obuasi East constituency, and a Deputy Coordinator of NADMO, and he gives us the rest of the others, the rest of the fallen patriots. It says in a tribute on a night of memorial and reflections on Saturday, President John Dramani Mahama described the victims of the crash as dedicated public servants united by their commitment to Ghana's success. Now, meanwhile, the Ghana Armed Forces have been addressing the press, and for that matter, addressing and talking to Ghanaians. And the Ghana Armed Forces, as reported by the Daily Graphic, is talking about investigating crashed helicopter, where military is inviting experts manufacturers to examine the black box. So Joshua Bediakun Kumsin of the Daily Graphic says that the Ghana Armed Forces is awaiting aviation experts and the manufacturers of the Z9 military helicopter that crashed in the country on August 6 to determine the procedure for examining its anti-crash recorder. The Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General William Ejapong, who disclosed this yesterday, reiterated the device had already been retrieved and was being preserved as part of the ongoing investigations into the tragedy. So this was yesterday's event. Yes. Now it says we are waiting on the experts and manufacturers, and a decision will be taken as to how it will be included in investigations. He said. Now, Lieutenant General Ejapong explained that the contents of the recorder, together with other evidence, would guide the scope of the probe into the crash. He said this when the leadership of the Ghana Journalists Association paid a courtesy call on him at his office at the Bema camp yesterday to commiserate with the military over the crash and the deaths, which included 3 military officers. Now, he said a number of things. And for instance, he says he described the crash site as a difficult high ground terrain 800 feet above sea level in dense forest, adding that local residents had reached the site and began disturbing the scene before the military arrived. Now, despite the challenges, our team reached the site quickly, secured it, and worked with available materials to recover the remains. The CDS said the bodies were transported from the crash site to Kumasi, placed in coffins and draped in national colors, and then moved to Accra, all within 10 hours. Now, considering the terrain and the urgency, this was one of the fastest helicopter recovery operation, and it continues on page 16. Operation in the country's history. He says that he also emphasized that the armed forces did not condone assaults on journalists and had consistently... Okay, so this one it's a different issue. But I recall that, Ernest, one of the things that you kept talking about and you hammered several times was the way the child remains was lifted from the crash site to wherever. Yesterday, the Chief of Defense Staff addressed it. Are you fine now? Are you okay now? You still have more questions? And of course, tomorrow is also a big day. Stay tuned, all is coming up.
Thank you, Moro. As for the tragedy, it hit the whole country. And like I said last week, my problem, my worry, has not been the crash per se. Because, like I said, we will all go one way or the other. It's just the way we will go and when it will happen. Whether we like it or not, it will happen. So when it comes like this, we always console ourselves. We will say, it is God who gives. He has taken away. May his name be praised and all that. Then we console ourselves in all the nice words and use whether the Quran, the Bible, and we are fine. But we as Africans have always looked at the way we remember our dead. And like I told you last week, I wouldn't want to remember our brothers the way they were brought from the top to the bottom. That's not the scene or the sight I would want to remain in my head. And unfortunately, the crash did not break me as much as the way we brought them down. It broke me. I told you it sent me straight into tears because it tells you, so is that all human beings are fighting and working for? And for me, I'm worried about, the Chief of Defense Staff had to tell us something. And no matter how hot the bodies were, no matter how difficult the terrain was, I believe and I insist on the fact that we were dealing with the military, who have certain advantages and certain expertise we ordinary human beings, ordinary citizens don't have. And I believe they could have done better. For me, they could have done better. Either, even if that is the only way they could transport the bodies, even if, I don't believe that's the only way, but even if that's the only way they could transport the bodies, they could have prevented the pictures from getting down with us. Because I told you that day, I was listening to, I got the news on radio. I was in a meeting. Immediately I came out of the meeting and sat in the car. Then I heard something was being discussed on one station. I tuned to another station. And the host was talking to a reporter who was on the scene. And the reporter mentioned that the villagers and the people, the team was going up the hill with sacks, cocoa sacks. So the host asked, in fact, specifically on Asempa, and the host asked, are you saying they are going with cocoa sacks? This is a reporter on the scene. So the using cocoa sacks was premeditated. I don't want to hide this because we have to learn from our mistakes. Yes, he alluded to when the Chief of Defense Staff was speaking, he alluded to the fact that there would have been certain mistakes made. And I think we should accept the fact that, like I said last week, whoever sanctioned the cocoa sack thing, even if that's the only way to transport them, we could have done it in secrecy. Because if this is my brother, this is my father, and I see that this is the way he's being transported, I don't like talking about it because you will be sending the wrong signals and you'll be breaking certain people's hearts the more. But I believe that we should learn from this. And like he alluded to the fact that there were mistakes made, we should go into the future. We never planned for any such disaster. Nobody thought it was going to happen. But these also do not answer the questions. Who cleared the plane to fly in bad weather? As they were going, were they talking? Because by all means, this is a military plane, and whatever the situation is, they will be speaking to their superiors. So whatever is happening, somebody will be talking to somebody. Unfortunately, we lost all our brothers on the flight. That somebody was behind who might have been talking to them. I hear that the plane has been flying so low. Something would have caused the pilot to be flying so low. Who was giving who was giving the support? Is somebody? There are so many questions which we believe the black box should answer. And my appeal to the presidency is that we are all broken. Everybody is worried. But we should be able to come back to the people of Ghana and tell the people of Ghana what exactly happened. I think it will bring finality to a lot of the things that are going on in people's minds now. The families, we have already extended our condolences to them. But whatever the government is doing, I think what will bring all of us some closure will be if we know how things went. They might have corrected the mistakes already, because when this sack thing, I am insisting was premeditated, happened quickly. They transferred them into coffins, no matter what it is. They transferred it into coffins and they transported it back to Accra, and all the courtesies and the whatever we needed to do to make sure that their memories are well preserved, we did. And that one, you will commend the government for it. They did all that they could do.
Mr. Major General Japon said the decision was necessary. So I'm quoting him, so that is not what I'm saying. The decision was necessary because the victims' bodies were severely burnt.
Yeah, Lieutenant General.
He's actually a Major General. That's what... He's a Lieutenant General. Yes, I think there's a mistake with this. He's the Lieutenant General. I agree with you. That's true. So he says that the decision was necessary because the victims' bodies were severely burnt, making standard body bags unsuitable. Now, it says while some body bags were available at the crash site, and he talked, in fact, when you watch the video, he talked about the fact that they even brought some from Obuasi, right? Now, he said the extreme heat damage to the remains made them impractical to use. It was in the thick forest, and it was getting late. We had the option of leaving the remains there until the following day, but we knew that would have happened, what would have happened to the bodies. So the team decided to use the available materials to move them to a higher ground. The rescue team operated under extremely difficult conditions and could not leave the remains at the crash site overnight.
I am saying, I listened to him yesterday, and we have been discussing this thing the whole week.
But you won't buy what he's saying?
I completely, absolutely disagree. That's why I'm saying it's difficult to discuss this thing. These are people not long ago. Mutala was sitting right here. These are people we know. These are people. So it's not something that is very comfortable to discuss.
It's a sensitive issue.
Yes, but they should rather, as for me, nobody should rather attempt to justify that, because there's a lot they could have done. Once we are dealing with the military...
Should I give you a moral boost? I'll give you a moral boost. And this one is a proper moral boost, or a moral booster. Your sister and very good friend, Annie, she says, Charlie, this morning,
it's not something I am
she's just loving the perspectives you're sharing. She is in absolute agreement with what you're saying.
It's not something I feel very comfortable discussing. And that's why I'm being very decorous. Okay. But I don't like it when the military is trying to compound the situation. They should rather focus on coming back to come and tell us what exactly the situation is, what happened. Let's actually make proper corrections to these. You see, I'm taking this angle because anybody who understands, I have spoken to people, I have read, I have tried to find out what exactly would have happened. And there is no way that pilot would have been flying blind without support from back end. No. So something would have happened. Did somebody give the wrong direction? Did somebody give the wrong orders? We don't know. So let's not talk about them. Let's rather wait.
I'm saying that. Let's leave it.
Exactly. It's also my position. I feel very uncomfortable talking about
because
attempting to come and do any PR thing. It's very unfortunate. It makes all of us very uncomfortable.
But I think people should be allowed to just think aloud.
No, not now. We
No,
would,
no, that's what
I
you're
told
doing.
you I want to have this conversation, and we will delve into the political.
I'm supporting what you're doing. I'm saying, okay, you should be allowed to ask the questions.
Yeah, we would jump into the political proper.
But
this is not the. So for some of us, this is not the time.
The timing is wrong.
When we jump into the political, then
as you from next week,
we will understand a lot
and you
more.
want us to now delve into these issues. I have no problem.
The things are
but
too fresh on our mind.
And there are families involved.
Look,
right?
exactly.
And there are sensitivities. Right. So I don't.
So it's a very uncomfortable.
Okay.
So for me, that is why, if you remember, I was just raising this issue of these arrests around this time. For me,
we're not there yet.
The government's situation should have been how to make, because these are some of the best of the government itself.
Right.
2 cabinet ministers fell.
Right.
So going to chase some small boy doing TikTok and maybe quote and unquote, forgive my language, but talking nonsense. Why do we give credence to that at a time like this? Then you are inviting the political conversation, which is not necessary at this time. Let's finish this funeral. Let's do all that we want to do. So whoever is behind these arrests, my special appeal is not to him, to the CID or whoever. It's to His Excellency the President, the Vice President. The people who know better, stop them. Because, you see, there is an Akan adage. If the elder, let me say it in Twi, so the people who are going to cause the distortions and create disaffection and bring a political conversation into this disaster, if they are doing it and His Excellency the President doesn't stop them, and maybe His Excellency the Vice President doesn't stop them, then it looks like you have sanctioned it. But we must stop this now. Focus on ensuring that these brothers that some of us have known for years, some of us have encountered, that who had fallen in the most unfortunate way, we all calm down, join as a country. You look back. When His Excellency Atta Mills passed, it was one of the times of this country, apart from football, that we saw everybody within this country mourn at the same time.
Right.
When our brother and father, the Honorable Kojo Banredu, passed, you could see that both NDC MPP, last week I told you, I was at his funeral with NDC MPs, and the comments they made about him alone. These are times that we are Africans and we hold solemn. Let us deal with it like that. And for me, whoever is behind these TikTokers and serial callers arrests, must stop it, because you are forcing people to introduce the political conversation. And when we begin to ask those questions will come. I want to pray that the day I will sit on this platform, it shouldn't be my big brother who I'm shy of. It should be somebody I can handle properly. Yeah, I can handle properly, because there are issues, there are matters. But I don't want to talk about them now, because the fire that this thing is bringing will be hot enough to consume.
I agree with everything you've said, except that you must also call those to order who are allowing these TikTokers to talk this way.
Oh, but we have. My General Secretary has issued a statement. I have personally sat on several platforms and have spoken against this. And you see, have you checked? I can send my General Secretary's statement to you. Then you will see he condemned them. Yeah. He apologized to the president. He apologized to the government.
Very important.
He apologized to the president, he apologized to the government, and pleaded that, and he said almost the same thing I'm saying. This is not the time to do what we are doing.
Let's not be sidetracked.
But when necessary, he apologized on their behalf.
If there's time, we'll look at that issue briefly, but let's not be sidetracked. You know, Francis Poku, it's a household name, isn't it? Very popular, but we all know what he did during the Kufuor regime. And he's a former national security minister.
Yeah.
He granted an interview to the Daily Graphic when he was going to lay a wreath at the Jubilee House. And it's a very interesting call he's making. I thought we should maybe spend some time to talk about it before we take our next break. Now, Samuel Do Ablodepe is reporting that former National Security Minister Francis Poku has called for support for the Ghana Armed Forces for it to handle the disasters of large magnitude effectively. He said the cost of implementing, story continues on page 3, a contingency plan in responding to these disasters that required building back infrastructure to mitigate impact and supporting families could be frightening, which all governments had not been able to address effectively. Now, speaking in an exclusive interview with the Daily Graphic last Tuesday after laying a floral wreath at the ceremonial garden at the Jubilee House, Mr. Poku, who was once at the helm of our country's security architecture for many years, said he could not vouch for the country's capacity to respond to large-scale disasters, but added that supporting the military to fortify its capacity could fill the gap. So far, we seem to be recovering well from this disaster, but I cannot say we have all it takes to respond to disasters, although we've had earthquakes, we've had floods and other disasters. Over the years, we don't address all these issues that come up, and the next government inherits the liability. Mr. Poku, who was in the company of former Inspector General of Police David Asante P2, stated, to fill the gap, he suggested a GAF should be supported to undertake ventures that would increase its internally generated funds for it to be equipped to shoulder such disasters when they struck. The military is competent enough to be part of our national development agenda, he said, adding that it was an institution which, with varied expertise and professionals whose services could be commercialized to generate funds to support its operations, citing the various specialized units of the GAF. Mr. Poku said the August 6, 2025 helicopter crash was a clear case of national crisis because of the personalities involved, the purpose of the flight, an emergency that required the president to manage as the commander-in-chief, the impact on families and the country's image among the considerations. And of course, he went to talk about let's using this as an opportunity to resolve Galamsey once and for all. And he also commented on prophecies, of which is going to be one of the things that we're going to talk about. But what do you make of this call by Francis spoken about retooling the Ghana Armed Forces and so on?
Well, they say when situations happen in a particular environment, that is the time to take advantage of it and talk about issues that affect the institutions that are involved in this. Because of COVID, it compelled our president at the time to talk of the need to build hospitals, etc. We are now in this. My wish would have been for him to comment possibly next week as opposed to this week. And I agree with you that yes, you have to let people speak out, because it puts the institutions on their toes and know that you are going to be asked questions at a given time. So you better start putting your house in order to be able to answer them. That much I agree with. The extent to which you go with it is what I have concerns about. Because it's there has to be a proper investigation. What if it comes out tomorrow that it was completely a mechanical fault, nothing to do with the weather? But we're all speculating about weather.
Exactly.
Or it is weather and nothing to do with mechanical. But we're all talking about the equipment. So there are so many variables that there are experts who will look at the crash site, who will look at what happened, get the black box, will look at the conversations that were held between the towers and the pilots at the time, etc. All this is part of an investigation. And because of the sensitivities, even the topic that you're doing is so sensitive that I am not even going to go there, at least not for now. Because you are dealing with people's emotions, and therefore things are looked at without objectivity up to a point, and people will look at it because our emotions are involved across board. And I went with the vice president and the president to see the families. I shouldn't be talking like this. Leave it. Yeah. They are grieving. We ourselves are grieving. How much more? Our grief cannot be. So I don't want to go into that aspect of it. So yes, we need to retool a lot of things. Yeah. And it is important because that was one of the cries of Dr. Omani Mama. That was one of his cries. Let's ask me. He was defense minister.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that will come out with time. Once we give them the fitting burial that we hope to do tomorrow, and the memorials and so on subsequently, we will definitely delve deep into the causes. Some very apparent. We'll look at processes and procedures. We will see whether there are good points or pluses that come from it, which we should learn from the actions, and then we will look and see what could have been done differently or should have been done differently, and what our real protocols are. It is significant that when Atiwa happened, in I think 2002, thereabouts.
2002, yeah.
3 days before they found the craft. So if you look at Atiwa and you look at today, you ask yourself, has there been an improvement? Then you also have a factor which, as campaign coordinator for the Mills campaign in 2008, and then being involved in these campaigns since then, the major game changer in all that period is social media.
Yeah.
And the inability of any country to curtail how information moves from one place to the other. So it's all well and good us talking. How do you hold? That was the point you made, which I wanted. How do you stop people from videotaping or taking pictures that, especially at the site where they got there before even...
Chief, forgive me. We saw military men taking the video.
So that is also part and parcel.
So that's why I said they shouldn't come.
But then you have authorized... You see, you have authorized personnel who must video.
But they never stopped the
So I agree. That's why I'm saying that. No, Ernest, I agree. But the only point I was making is that social media as a tool. I didn't have that problem when I was campaigning in 2008.
Yeah.
It wasn't an issue. Now you dare not. It is a whole industry in itself. You must factor it into your campaign or for anything that you are doing. So I hear you. Okay. We will have the conversation subsequently. I agree with you, and that's what I said. That look, the inability of anyone to stop the videotapes or know how to even if it's done, how do you retrieve it and capture it so that it doesn't go into the public domain? Is an issue. But
now speaking about
these are lessons learned.
And speaking about investigations, yesterday, Judge Mfi also held it wasn't a news conference, but he met some chiefs and reassured them of government's commitment to conducting a thorough, transparent, and credible investigations into what happened. In fact, he talks about the fact that the ministry is requesting international collaborations to ensure a transparent process. Yeah. And I quote him, "We also want to assure you that the Ghana Armed Forces has already begun investigations." And the story continues on page 3. So I'm reading from the insight. Into the incident. So we made a request for an international collaboration. We have received a positive response in that regard. We want to assure our chiefs that nothing will be covered. It will be transparent, and the Ghanaian public will know exactly what happened in the course of this tragic accident. Now, he further called on the media to be circumspect in the reportage on the incident. So all of us inclusive is exactly what you've been saying. Anyway, so I guess that's it. But Alex, we found out sometime this week that the place where you're working, which is the presidency, there is an office called a special envoy on interfaith religion, I hope I got that correctly, and ecumenical relations. And we saw that, or we found out about this office when a statement was issued by SAME. And in the statement asking heads of religious bodies to rein in, not with those exact words, but these are my words, to essentially rein in some men of God for putting out all kinds of prophecies. But that statement was also emphatic about the type of prophecies that it would want these prophets to relay to the office of the special envoy for some kind of, you call it review, to be done before the prophecy is put out. And he gives the reason being that he, Elvis Efriyankra, who is the special envoy, had heard some pastors who were complaining, or prophets, let me put it that way, who were complaining that, yes, they see things, They hear things, they dream about things, they envision things. The only problem they have is how to reach that person they have seen those things about, and to let the person know that, hey, be careful, so or XYZ is going to happen to you. So there was a prophet, there was a man who says he's a prophet, who said apparently he saw what was about to befall Omaneboama and some others. But he tried to reach out and it was difficult. It was almost impossible. And if he were able to reach them, it would have probably prevented the incident. So Elvis says, okay, I've created an avenue for you, an office for you. If you have a challenge, reach out to somebody, bring it. Let's look at it, and then we can facilitate, that communication on your behalf. But there has been mixed reactions. Some pastors said, kudos. Some say no, lie, because you can't treat prophecies like that. Have you always known about this Office of Special Envoy for Interfaith and Ecumenical Relations? And what's your understanding of what you're supposed to be doing?
When you have a process that is not subject to scientific or normal verification, how do you control it, monitor it? And I just see this as an attempt to, or what has come out in the open, something that has existed in most political parties for a while, in terms of, and it heightens, in my experience, as you approach elections. In the last, say, 4 or 5 months, if not 6, coming up to an election, the minimum number of people who may want to see the president in a week, president directly, 2 or 3 in a week, who have had visions and who have had prophecies that they must impart to him. In the last 2 months coming up to election, both in MPP and NDC, the president might as well, or the flag bearer, might as well sit in his office and just receive people from the religious places, because he cannot, there are so many at that time as to what he should do and not do. So what political parties, I understand, do, technically they have a team of people who deal with spiritual issues, and they then become the conduit by which it is passed on to the person.
Yeah.
However, for most of these prophecies, they tell you that we want to speak directly to the person. The message was not for you.
Yes.
It was for the person. So you are in a quandary, because there is no barometer to tell you that of this 100, 10 are genuine, 90 are not. Or 90 are genuine, 10 are not. The normal barometer people use is, this message, I've heard it from 3 different people, all the same. So possibly there may be something in it.
Yeah.
But when the first one came, it said nothing. No action was necessarily taken. And then there's also those at least in the Christian faith, who believe that God reveals to redeem. Now, the question that sometimes, and I'm not speaking as, I'm talking now Alex Segbefia, I'm not a government official. The question that comes to mind is, if I see something is going to happen to me, Alex, or somebody has seen it and doesn't get to me, and it happens, and I'm not talking of death, it could be anything. You're going to lose your job, you're going to do, it could be anything. And it has happened. Why then do you have to make it public? Why don't you still try the same process and say, look, I saw this. The message is for a particular person. It is not, it's for me. You will try to reach me, you didn't get me. It has happened to me. And you need to now tell the whole world that I saw this was going to happen to you. You should have listened to me. What is the benefit at that point? What actually is the benefit? Because it has happened to me. The only benefit, or the first benefit, is to show that I'm a genuine person.
Yes.
That is what it is.
I'm a credible prophet.
I'm a credible prophet.
Yes.
To what avail?
So listen to me.
Why? You see,
I want to save your life.
In this case, the person is gone.
Yes, but there are others. Yeah, but I'll continue. Continue to see.
Let's be clear.
So somebody didn't listen to me, or somebody didn't answer my calls. Don't do same.
So what is the barometer to decide of this 100? I should listen to 20, or I should listen to 80, and that is why this interfaith thing has been created. People who can put people in touch, because you have the Muslim side, you have the traditional side, and then you have the Christian side.
Yes.
It's not one. It's coming.
There's Baha'i, there's Hindu.
No, but I'm talking of predominantly in Ghana.
Yes.
These are the three. You have the Muslim divinations, you have the Christian divinations and the Muslim prophecies, you have the traditionalists.
Yes.
They are all coming
Yes.
with what they believe is going to happen to you or not.
Yes.
And so if you don't create a vehicle which can at least take it, whether right or wrong, then the person who they want to see, or the group, or the minister, has to sit down and spend, I've put Monday aside for spiritual divination. That's the day that we are going to deal with all this thing. Or I've put Friday aside. Let's be practical and real. But you cannot ignore it. It's the way I'm seeing it. Because you do not know which is right and which is wrong. And look, sometimes, you see, in the world of spiritualism, who says it must always be a man of God? Your cousin can call you and say, hey, I had a dream, and this is this and that. You can choose to ignore it, or you can choose to take it. The only way you know whether it's true or not is if it happens. But what you are supposed to do, my understanding, is you pray on it immediately. Once you pray on it, then you leave it in his hands. If the thing happens, why are you now going to the whole world to tell the world that, as you said, it's only to show that I'm a genuine prophet?
Yes.
Why? So everybody come to me so that what I see, I can tell you.
Relevance. And we have to be relevant.
But we have to, you see, when you are in, we have to be circumspect.
Yes.
As when we are in the presidency. I'm not saying that, and I'm not dismissing anything. Let me be clear. And I'm not accepting anything too. What we are saying is, you must have a vehicle which can at least listen and hear. And you have a vehicle for spiritual issues. And as a political party, you do that. So you have people who handle those issues throughout.
But Alex, you were the one who said earlier that these prophecies are meant for the people who the vision was about, and not a third party.
Yeah.
So why do I have to go and see a third party? For what? So in this case, Elvis Free and Christ a third party.
Yes.
So if I have a vision about you and I can't reach you,
so let me put it the other way.
Yes.
You refuse to tell the third party, but you can tell the whole world after the event.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
No.
Yeah,
the two are not compatible.
Yeah, I get it, but I've got to communicate to someone.
The thing is not yet happened. I have to tell somebody. You say it's for him, and I say, please tell me. You say, I won't tell you. It's for him. Then the thing happens, and then you say, now to the whole world. Oh, I saw it. But because I had to tell him, and it had to go to a third party, I didn't say it. Where is the logic in that?
Yeah.
Where is the logic?
I get it, because speaking to the public in itself is third party.
It's terrible.
It's third party.
Yeah, it's only for your own gain. That's how I see it. Even if the message is for the person, what you should be doing is satisfy yourself that I've told the people who are supposed to be able to speak to this person about it. I've done my bit. Because he reveals to redeem. I've told him how he will deal with it or what. Then some tell you that this is the remedy. You must do A, B, or C to remedy this. The A, B, or C, sometimes you can, sometimes it's something that you will never contemplate because of your own faith anyway. So this is not an area that I want to even get too deep into, because people have, the issue is, should there even be such an office in the presidency? That is what I believe the question you are asking is. And I'm saying, I've given you the reasons why it is necessary to have that sort of a filter, if I can put it that way. You hope that the people you put in there have some level of contact with people who are spiritually enlightened, if they themselves don't have it. But they can pass it on to a requisite person who may have that gift or are able to see.
Yeah, so yesterday we had Mr. Kwesi Pratt here when this issue came up. And first of all, he was against the idea.
Exactly.
Okay. Secondly, he was asking some questions. One, what does review mean? When you say you want to review a prophecy, what does it mean? And then two, who is going to review the prophecy?
Well,
and so yesterday, Elvis had to call into the show because of the submission that was being made by Mr. Kwesi Pratt. And he sought to clarify that, but they were partner, so they really didn't get to the bottom of the issue. Did you get it? They didn't get to the bottom of the issue. But you are not that special envoy, but of course you're very good friends with Elvis, and so maybe you may attempt to help us with this. The idea of reviewing a prophecy, what's your understanding of it?
Mine is simple. I do not for 1 minute believe that Elvis will sit down and decide whether this is true or not. But he has access to a prayer team, a group of this.
In fact, he said it. He said it himself.
Exactly. Who will try and look at it. And it's a question of faith. Look, there are people who are atheists who will not even see why this should be necessary.
Yes.
There are people who are highly spiritual or who are of one faith or the other, who think this is spot on. As you said, some priests think this is right. All that I'm saying is that there's the avenue.
Okay.
And you do not want to be seen. Why? When I don't know of a single government or head of state who has not turned to spiritual leaders in his time of need. Even we have situations where when we didn't have electricity, water, we went and got priests to pray. So that you cannot say that the faith-based organizations at all levels, both Muslim, Christian, and even traditionalists, haven't got a part to play in our governance structure. So the question is, how do you then manage and deal with it? And if you do not have an avenue that will deal with it, you are going to leave a vacuum. And that also creates its own problems. What you have to be clear about is, how do we handle it? How do we go about it? And so when you want now to organize interfaith prayer session, you have this office that puts it together and deals with all the others. So there are other aspects of their functions which make it necessary or makes it relevant to have such an office. Because the recent prayers that we had went that way. They are the same group who organized the ones for the Muslims. And they are the ones who also organized the ones for the Christians. They brought in all the different faiths to come and pray for the country. People commended it. Now we have gotten into a very specific area. Prophecies. It's all part of all the faiths. The traditionalists, the Muslims, and the Christians. And we've created an office where that is also supposed to be handled. As to how it is handled or not, it's a good question. But I don't believe it's that one person who is leading it that sits down and says, this one is true, this is wrong, this is right. That's not what it's about. Okay. There are prayer groups, there are people who they have access to, they look at where it's coming from and that's what, and then they decipher it, and then or try and decipher what is coming. Look at the process. Because you, like with medicine, they are charlatans. So we all agree that herbal medicine is good. We are all entitled to start looking at more herbal medicine than the traditional ones, which sometimes even create more problems. But if the person who is mixing the herbal medicine doesn't have the right weights, whatever, Sometimes they're affecting your kidneys and all your liver and what more. They are creating another problem for you in their attempt to cure the others. So you have to regulate traditional. I was Minister of Health, so I understand how we have tried to regulate traditional medicine. But we all accept that traditional medicine is good and has got some benefits. How did our people survive to this point? But you must regulate it. Now you are trying to, in a way, excuse me to say, regulate faith.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, you are having this. So it's just an attempt.
I'm giving this as an example. So, I'm not saying I believe in that. Because everybody knows I'm Muslim.
Yes.
But if I don't believe in God.
Yes.
But I'm a tax-paying Ghanaian.
Yes.
Why must you use my taxes to pay somebody who is coordinating interfaith activities? And it has to do with Muslim, Christians, and traditionalists.
I think that we pay a lot of taxes to do things which do not necessarily cover the whole. Why? If you have a Jehovah's Witness who says that I don't want blood to be taken or given to my people, do you say that the appeal to people and holding a blood bank to help others who will take blood should not take place? You can't say that. So there are always in every environment situations where you do for the collective. And there will always be those who will take themselves out or don't believe it. But the collective is what matters.
Okay.
So I am clear that the collective, you see, if you joke with this faith thing,
it's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
So I understand, I've heard Kwesi Pratt. Mine is how it was perhaps communicated.
All right.
And the moment you communicate something and you're having to come back and explain it, it means straight away your communication was suspect.
All right.
If I can put it that way. So when you go into something like this, you must come out from the beginning clearly. And it's no indictment of Elvis or whatever, because maybe when you are in something, you see it clearly. But you, in the course of the communication, you maybe don't take account of certain factors, like the atheists or those who don't want to aspire to one thing or the other. And very soon you hear the traditionals. Even we get it when we go to the where's our own?
Yes.
So there's no specific.
In fact,
why don't you pour libation? You are not
when you do the Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
And,
so
and
you joke with it.
They came out to complain. Yes.
This conversation.
Yes.
This conversation.
All religions. Okay. I see. You know, Annie works with the F1 Pofo. She works with the special envoy.
Okay.
Yes, she's just giving me some additional information.
Okay.
It says that Elvis's office also, supervises even those who don't believe in God.
There you go. It is covered.
Let's have this conversation. I want to bring it within.
No, I'll bring you in. I'll bring you in. I know you're a prophet yourself. So
I'll bring in prophet.
I'll bring in prophet. I'll bring in prophet and a Saturday. But after this one, please, let's take a small break.
Sɛ saa nyame na yɛgye ne deɛ no na ayi ne deɛ awade yi biribi kyerɛ ɔsɔfo bi a me nuanom mpanimfoɔ no mu sɛ saa nyame na yɛgye ne deɛ no na ayi ne deɛ wode kɔ so ahwehwɛ nipa no mane abere paa ɛyɛ sɛ ɛsi wie na ɔman no ne bere na asɔfoɔ no so gyina fa mehu ya na ama adwuma no ho aba atantayo na aba fodie. That is my opinion. The same way I mean me aka some so for be as a for the okay, you know. The same way and when the gospel is becoming nuisance, some of us we will let you know because for mine any abre. Se tell any who say to na obetimi apam na wampam na o ma do to atie ko badwam a na homa egu onyina mfaso ni so o man ni so busa question ye hunu ye na mutwam etwae so please eba sa na mafi urada mpare. It took only one man and all the sanity
The system.
About system. Arahuaba. Omo ashiro omo ma.
Oh.
Na asemu meti akakache omo mpeni.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana and Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, together with Her Excellency Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, Vice President, the government and the people of Ghana and the families of the departed, announced with deep sorrow the passing of 8 distinguished Ghanaians. A state funeral will be held in their honor on Friday, 15th August 2025. The time is 8 a.m. and the venue is Blaster Square. All are cordially invited to join in paying final respect to the departed. May their souls rest in perfect peace.
I'm here at Mycom JA Limited to show you the Promethean Active Panel, the ultimate tool for corporate institutions, hospitals, schools, and your home. With its crystal clear 4K display and an unbreakable screen with an ultra responsive touch technology, this isn't just a screen, it's a game changer. For corporate institutions and in schools, this active panel can be used for Zoom meetings and PowerPoint presentation. And oh, your homes are not left behind. You can use it to watch all your favorite programs by just connecting to a Fire Stick, and you can get access to channels like Netflix and Amazon, and voila, you are in there. At Mycom JA Limited, we provide you with the best quality products from the United States of America with 1-year warranty. You can get an active panel at a discounted price of 18,000 Ghana cedi only, and it comes with a Fire Stick, a webcam, and a micro system. You can locate us at Chado Container behind the Trade Fair. Visit Mycom JA Limited today and elevate your tech.
Chichi woni nara mi din e de baby da pa me di ade sonko kra na ebremo nya ode to aduane mo ama waduane e de pa na me de bremo eno any some spices e emu wa wo bebre o various flavors ubenya e yakoko ubenya nantwie ye de ku jollof mu ma emu ye de ubenya ye de ku nkwan ye de ku froye mu ho na ko pebito na ema waduane enye de unyimi nia ye nkon ye konko tie nya nkofo eka.
Autant de communication, ni enjoy Oduba, that Samu spices. One in the essence, no time. I'm going to get it. Samu spices in a Sabi, daddy so say. Samu spices, Mun Samu.
Samu spices, Yama chicken.
Samu spices.
Nsaka in Ketwa, measure 10 grams. Your chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, can jollof, and the flavors of bebre.
Samu spices, yes, Saka.
FDIJ, I'm a branch manager.